Hi, this is Karen Wall of Bike Homes, and welcome back to Dining Room Table Talks for Note Investors. Some of you that have been following us know that Stacy and I belong to a Note Investors Mastermind Group. This mastermind group is led by Scott Carson and is made up of serious note investors who have gone through Scott's personal training programs to learn, to evaluate, market, and buy non-performing notes. This group meets about 3 times a year, along with networking online throughout the rest of the year. These meetings are designed to learn from the best of the best, to network with like-minded note investors, and learn new approaches and systems to improve our own note business and bring optimal results to our investors. Recently, while attending the New Jersey Distressed Mortgage Expo, I was talking to a fellow mastermind who suggested that I talk about some of the mistakes that I have learned to avoid from my fellow mastermind students. So today's talk is dedicated to some of those mistakes that I have learned to avoid in the due diligence process from the mastermind group. The mistakes I'm going to talk about today are as follows. Number 1, not doing your own due diligence. Number 2, not checking the taxes, liens, code violations, or judgments on the property. Number 3, not verifying the broker price opinion, or BPO. Number 4, not making sure the property has a clean title. Number 5, not getting eyes on the property. So, when you receive a tape, it contains a lot of information. Things such as current interest rate, unpaid balance, last paid date, taxes due, property address, and the bank's broker price opinion, or BPO, are part of the tape. Now, one could take all this information as 100% accurate, but that could get you in trouble very quickly in the note business. So, we trust but verify the information by going through our own detailed due diligence process to verify the accuracy of the information on the tape. One of the key information typically found on a tape is outstanding taxes. So, if you don't double check the taxes and research them, you might find yourself in a situation where the property has already gone to tax sale for unpaid taxes. Now, if the property has already been sold at tax sale, you will want to find out how much time is left in the process so that you know how to deal with the tax situation. So just because there are taxes owed doesn't mean that you want to totally avoid the process or the property. You just want to know how to deal with those taxes. So you may want to lower your bid for the asset to account for those taxes that are due. You definitely want to make sure you know as much as you can about the tax situation before purchasing the asset. Another mistake I learned to avoid is issues from not checking on code violations, liens, and judgments against the property. So if you purchase a property that has a code violation, you will need to either correct the violation or, even worse, pay fines for the violation. So you want to make sure that you call the code enforcement office before you purchase that property, just so that you know what is involved. Same goes for liens and judgments, as these will have to be cleared up before you can purchase or resell the property. Most tapes contain some kind of BPO. Again, we trust but verify the information. You want to contact a local realtor to provide comps and provide a broker price opinion for the properties that you are going to buy. If your BPO is different than the bank's BPO, you will want to contact the seller to relay the information and backed by facts about your differences, which could potentially lower your bid on the asset. You want to make sure that the property has a clean title to avoid extra time and expense that it would cost to clear up any tax title issues. One company that we use is Pro Title USA. They typically take about 48 hours to pull what's called an O&E report. You want to make sure that the name on the mortgage matches the name on the title, as well as making sure the title is clean. That way, you don't have to spend extra time and money to clear up any title issues that property may have. Finally, you need to get eyes on the property. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to drive or fly to see every property yourself. As a part of the due diligence process, we research properties on sites such as Redfin, Trulia, and Zillow to get as many pictures and as much information as we can about the properties as possible. Stacy has actually gone on road trips to visit some of the properties in Ohio that we were going to purchase. But sometimes that just isn't possible or practical. So you want to contact a local realtor and have them drive by and take pictures. Or you could use a company such as We Go Look to go and take pictures of the property so that you can have as much information as possible. Now, we actually had another dining room table talk that actually talked about Stacy's ventures in Ohio, so be sure to check that out in YouTube. So, getting eyes on the property is a very critical piece of the due diligence process. So you might wonder, why does all this due diligence matter anyway? Well, we at Bike Homes want to purchase the best assets for both our own and our investors' portfolios. So the more thorough due diligence process we can do before purchasing an asset, the better we can provide better returns for our investors. Case in point, the asset in Ohio that we thought was a great deal was actually a burned out, boarded up home when Stacy got to Ohio to actually put his eyes on that asset. So the property that once looked great to Zillow and the bank and had great bank B pre-O, had we purchased that property, would have been a bad investment because we probably would have not made a profit at all on that investment. So we actually passed, having done our due diligence and felt that it was not a good property for Bike Homes to invest in. So we would never offer a property for our JV partners that we would not 100% invest in for ourselves. So, next time you are considering purchasing a distressed note, I hope you keep in mind the 5 mistakes to avoid that I have learned from my mastermind group. Well, that's all for now. Have a great evening.